this is where the fights come out in the comments. The little fisticuffs come out in the comments. Which Lord of the Rings is better? Ooh, let's find out. Welcome, movie maniacs, to my ranking of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies, from my least favourite to my favourite in a tier list setting. Holy moly. Okay, these are some of my favourite movies of all time, if not my absolute favourites. So ranking them is actually painful, because we're not going to be, we're not going to chicken out and put them all in the same tier. I actually have S+, S++, and S++++++, for separating them, because we are going to do it in order of my least favourite to my favourite, because I could just throw them all in S and just be done with it, but that's cheating, But just bear in mind, 3 of them, wink wink, nudge nudge, you know which 3, are just the best, greatest movies ever made, 10 out of 10s, and we'll get to them. But first, let's talk about The Hobbit, with Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins. Gandalf, Ian McKellen is back. The Hobbit is actually pretty underrated. I do really enjoy the first Hobbit movie. I think it's fantastic. The whole sequence with Andy Serkis' Gollum in the cave and the riddles, I love that sequence. That sequence is amazing. The scene with the 3 trolls, still a great scene. Them talking about how they're going to cook him. Great. Context for the Lord of the Rings, because Bilbo talks to the children about that in one of the Lord of the Rings movies. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed The Hobbit. It wasn't as memorable as the Lord of the Rings franchise, but standing on its own, I think it didn't have super silly moments like 2 of the others. You had Radagast on his Bunnymobile. Radagast and his Bunnymobile. But aside from that, it was fine. It was pretty cool. I love the new characters introduced. I love all the dwarves. The whole scene with them singing the Misty Mountains. That is a golden 10 out of 10 scene. One of the best songs in the franchise. The whole opening is amazing. Him wanting to come out with them on the adventure. You know what? I'm going to put it in... Why is it C? This should be a B tier. I think it's a B tier film. I think The Hobbit is a B. I'll change this one to a C. Random editing in the middle of the video. Add row below. Yeah, I'll change that to a B. Hobbit is pretty good, and I'll watch it again. It's pretty rewatchable. Now, next up is this the Battle of 5 Armies, or is this the Desolation of Smaug? I think this is the Desolation of Smaug. So this one's going into C. So, I like it. Some people absolutely despise it because of one scene, the barrel scene. They're all rolling down the river in the barrels, just jumping on orcs, and it's very silly. It's like boing, 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 barrel, barrel, barrel. It's not too serious. It's very silly. It is a kid's book, to be fair. I didn't mind that scene, but the whole forced romance with Toriel is just... It's not even in the book, so the fact that they added that, and the actress didn't even want to do it, that drags it down a bit. I do love Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug, and I love the whole parts in the actual mountain. That whole sequence is great. There's a lot that could be taken out of this movie. A lot that could be taken out. The whole forced romance, you can take out the barrel scene, the whole prison break is just, it's silly. The movie itself is fine. It's not terrible, it's fine. I play it, it's dumb popcorn, shoving in your mouth fun, and that's how I see it for the Desolation of Smaug. Now, the Battle of 5 Armies is a D. I was so excited for this one. I thought this was going to be the best one. The Battle of 5 Armies is one of the greatest battles in Tolkien history. But, no, it was very underwhelming. Billy Connolly as the dwarf was funny, but it was so out of place. I just didn't like it. The whole CGI, so much in these movies. That's why it's never going to be as good as the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The CGI is way too much and way too jarring. The scene with the fighting Azog, I think Legolas is jumping up the stones in like slow motion. It looks terrible. The whole battle looks terrible. It doesn't feel like there's any stakes in the battle. It's just a bunch of CGI people fighting CGI people. There's that scene of Gandalf like just in the green screen room looking so depressed. I think he cried on set as well. Screw this movie. Screw this movie. There's nothing fun about it. The whole sequence, I can't remember the character's name, but he's like stealing a bunch of gold and he's using it as like bra, and it's like, what are you doing? And it's catapulted. It's dumb. Everything about this movie is dumb. I don't like it. D tier. Not quite terrible, because you can have some... It's so bad it's kind of good in parts, but the CGI just ruins the whole thing for me. And Azog as a whole could be cut from all of them, because his CGI is just terrible. So yeah, Battle of Five Armies, do not like it. Now we come to the Holy Trinity. We all know the Hobbits weren't going to be as good, but this is where the fights come out in the comments. The little fisticuffs come out in the comments. Which Lord of the Rings is better? Ooh, let's find out. So, Fellowship of the Ring. Now I'll do it in order. So, number 3. These are all 10 out of 10s, by the way. Number 3 for me is The Two Towers. A lot of people's favourites, and I can agree why. Helm's Deep. The Battle of Helm's Deep is just majestic. With the Berserker running with the torch and just dives in and blows it. It's the best battle in any of the movies. It is. It's the pinnacle of fights and battles. No CGI. Well, some CGI, but mostly practical effects, which is why the orcs look so good. The Uruk-hai as well. The armor, the Hand of Sauron. Like, Saruman, sorry. The whole Ent battle in Isengard is just fantastic. Merry and Pippin's adventure was great. I loved it. Salted pork? Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas just have loads more time to shine. Rohan is amazing with King Theoden and Wormtongue. There's so many great scenes in this movie. The warg scene. There's so many great scenes in this movie. I feel like Sam and Frodo's parts aren't that good in the movie. Everything around them is fantastic. Gollum's great, as usual. I do love Gollum. But as a whole, compared to Return to the King, they have a lot more to do in that movie. In this movie, they're just kind of going around, getting lost, get captured. That's about it. Most of the movies, like the Helm's Deep battle, Aragorn, King Theoden, Merry and Pippin, like they're more integral. But overall, it is number 3 for me, because the other two are just better, and Return of the King is next. This is probably controversial. Yeah, this is the one that won the Oscar for Best Movie, and they won like 12 Oscars overall, the movies, which is insane. Now, Return of the King is a perfect closer to a great trilogy. You got Shelob scene, which is terrifying. You got the Mount Doom scene with Sam carrying Frodo up the mountain, just amazing. Aragorn with You Bow to No One. Fantastic stuff. The whole battle sequence, storming the gates is fantastic with the armoured cave trolls, the Nazgul sweeping down, the Witch King fight, the Oliphants. Aragorn basically recruiting all the deserters from previous battles as ghosts that just swarm everyone. Fantastic scene. There's too many good scenes. There is too many good scenes. Gollum's betrayal. Need I say more? Aragorn's charge at the end? Oh my god. Return of the King is flawless. Aside from the ending goes on a bit too long, but everyone says that. It's fine. More Lord of the Rings for me is never a bad thing. So you can take that criticism and stick it somewhere where the sun don't shine. My favourite is always and has always been Fellowship of the Ring. It introduces all the characters. It has the more backstory of the characters. The whole Fellowship sequence is my favourite sequence in any of the movies. More banding together. Boromir is one of my favourite characters ever. Very deep character. Love Sean Bean. His death scene still sheds a tear to this day. That whole that whole end sequence is amazing. Merry and Pippin screaming and then trying to run and just instantly just getting grabbed. Aragorn going to him. It's like, I would have followed you, my brother, my king. Oh, tears. Tears in the eyes. That scene alone, amazing. They have a cave troll. The mines of Moria. And they called it a mine. A mine! Too many good parts. Too many good parts. The Nazgul, which are very terrifying in this movie. Not so much in the other movies, but in this movie it's like a horror. Love the whole opening sequence. The Shire, you get to see all the Shire folk. In my opinion, the Balrog as well, come on. You shall not pass. Yeah. Fellowship is the best. It's the best Lord of the Rings movie, in my opinion. You can have your own opinion, so pop down in the comments below how you would rank this franchise, because I enjoy most of these movies, even The Desolation, but there's just one movie where I'm kind of like, don't like it. Then Desolation's okay. Hobbit's pretty good, pretty underrated. Then these are 10 out of 10s. These are just, you could interchange them, and I'd be completely fine with you. So yeah, that is my ranking for Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. Let me know how you'd rank them down below, and we'll see you again, you crazy movie maniacs.